The Canucks in the final at the international tournament for the first time. Sports fans Colin Teskey has a preview. They pulled off the
sound or there's no sound, and I don't give a fuck.
The team of Dennis Shapovalov and Vasek Pospisil lifting Canada to a 6-3 win over Russian tandem Karen Khachanov.
There's no fucking sound.
Momentum for Canadian tennis this year. It is the first time has reached the Davis Cup finals, and it won't get any easier for Dennis Shapovalov and Vasek Pospisil as they'll meet Spain, who won the doubles.
I've literally been at this about 45 fucking minutes.
Great Britain 2-1.
It's not one thing, it's something else.
At 10:30 a.m.
I don't understand how 4 pieces of software made by the same company can't work together. I don't understand that at all.
Hundreds of people gathered at Old City Hall to protest ongoing violence in Iraq. The demonstrators waved Iraqi flags and held placards that read, "Save the Iraqi people." At least 341 protesters have died in massive protests in Iraq since October 1st of this year. Demonstrators say the Iraqi government is responsible for widespread corruption and poor basic services despite the country's oil wealth.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. This portion of the news brought to you by Menkes. There's a shakeup on the top-level staff of federal conservative leader Andrew Scheer.
Andrew Scheer has made some unexpected changes to his staff in the wake of last month's election failure. He's dismissed 2 of his top aides, Chief of Staff Marc-Andre Leclerc and Communications Director Brock Harrison. Martin Belanger and Simon Jeffries will fill the respective posts.
I assume I have sound? I'm going to start spitting
Scheer
secrets.
did not spell out reasons for the dismissals in a
I just don't want to
letter,
waste my time
saying only
doing
that
it. If it's
personnel
not working,
changes
yeah?
were being made as the party
1,
prepares to
2,
assume an
3,
active
4.
role
This is
in the
number 5 in a row. Are
minority
you
parliament.
fucking kidding me?
Roger Ward, The Canadian Press.
680 News Time, 8:08. If you're around the rec room tonight, you might hear some strange noises coming from it. Our Jeff Verhoeven is here to explain what.
The 10th annual Canadian Beatbox Championships take over the rec room, a decade of people making multiple sounds at the same time with their mouths.
You are now tuned into 680 News.
And for the first time ever, this event is all ages. Tonight, a new Canadian champion will be crowned. 16 beatboxers competing for the title. People from Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Newfoundland, and Calgary. There will be judges from New York and Pittsburgh, group beatbox battles, and more. Tickets through beatboxcanada.com. I'm Jeff Verhoeven.
Well, every group had one beatboxer, and that was the rule.
Well, Mississauga has released a list of the most popular cat and dog names in the city. Topping the list for cats this year, Smokey, followed by Tigger and Tiger. That's fairly usual. If your dog is named Max, you're not alone. That one came in at number 1. Other top dog names include Bella and Charlie. Disappointed to see Piper not on there. Piper, my dog, will be very upset. 680 News Time, 8:09.
You're listening to 680 News.
Motherfucker. Just in case the sound is working, you get a 2-minute timeout for that. So I think I can roll 5 or 6 out of what's here. That's how many I got to smoke to remember what the fuck I was going to say, so be it. Somebody got shot, but I don't know if they're going to tell us anything about it.
In exactly 1 minute, traffic and weather together. 680 News Time, 8:10.
Did you miss filing your taxes? Did you let 1 year turn into many? Boxes of paper, lost documents, disorganized, confused. Don't know where to start? What to do next? We do. Call Mark Feldstein Chartered Professional Accountants. We deal with this every day.
It's never too late. Start sleeping at night. Call Mark Feldstein Chartered Professional Accountants now at pound tax.
Oh,
That's
dear.
the pound sign tax. Or visit markfeldstein.ca.
You worry about money at night. I sit up making money at night.
Awards for customer satisfaction. They've also won awards for the number of Infinities they've sold. If you're shopping or need to service your vehicle, go where the customers are pleased and the vehicles are plentiful. Alta Infinity Woodbridge, 400 Infinity Innisfil, Infinity of Brampton, and this
Holy
#1 volume
fuck,
Infinity
man.
Group. Go to
I know exactly what's going on. I just think you people are fucking clowns, eh?
Part of the Zachin Auto Group.
Like all these little tiny klutzy things happen.
680 News Time, 8
What all you could
11, time for
accomplish, eh?
traffic and weather together on
I'm
the
so
ones.
scared of
Here
your
is
black
Craig
magic
here.
spell.
This
I'm so
report brought to
scared,
you
so
by
scared.
Christmas in the
Cursed, I am
chapel.
cursed,
So on the
I'm
westbound
cursed.
401, we just had the MTO working in the left shoulder here, but all lanes have reopened. Approaching
is
the
burning?
412
No.
after an earlier crash, multi-vehicle crash, but everything is getting back up to speed
Like
now. We
human
still have
flesh,
delays
bro.
on the westbound 401 from west of
There was a
Stevenson.
10-car
Eastbound
pileup, but I guess we
401
missed
volume
it.
east of Dixie in the collectors for a short stretch, and then again approaching Dixon to Islington in the express. Express and collector ramps to the DVP are also still heavy from the eastbound 401. Westbound 401 ramps, both express and collectors to the DVP are also busy. South 404 DVP still slow. Shepherd to south of Lawrence, but it does seem to be improving. Toronto-bound QEW over top the Burlington Skyway. Crews have the two left lanes closed tonight for some construction, and we are seeing delays here because of it. Eastbound QE is slow just east of Cawthra for a short stretch, and the eastbound Gardner is still very heavy from about approaching the Humber Bridge all the way over to Spadina. Eastbound 403 still a little slow east of Eglinton Express all the way up to the 401, and we have some construction on the South 410 through Derry. They've got the HOV lane closed. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries presents Christmas in the Chapel with the Tyndale Community Choir and guest Mark Masry.
Fuck.
Two concerts on December 7th. Tickets available at tyndale.ca/Christmas. Your next report is at 8:21 with the forecast. Here's Jason Fraser.
Well, lots of clouds are expected throughout the GTA tonight, but you can leave the umbrella at home as we are not expecting any rain showers to develop. We'll see a low temperature around 0, -3 for areas north of the city, including Vaughan and Richmond Hill. For tomorrow, we're going to see a mix of sun and clouds. Overall, it should be a nice day, and we'll see a high temperature of 6. And for tomorrow night, cloudy with a low of +1. Our overnight low tonight is 0.
Downtown Toronto right now, partly cloudy, 4 degrees, feeling like 3 degrees, and not much wind chill there. Similar conditions over at Pearson International. 680 News Time, 8:13.
Dream big, shine bright. The Concord Diamond Collection, a symbol of wealth, a sign of brilliance.
It's not jewelry, but it comes with jewelry.
3-bedroom suites at prestigious locations in downtown Toronto and North York. For a limited time, purchase a suite from the Concord Diamond Collection and receive a De Beers diamond jewelry piece valued at $30,000. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ConcordDiamondCollection.ca for details.
Need more dough for your bakery?
ThinkingCapital.ca/radio.
Want to give your beauty salon a makeover?
ThinkingCapital.ca/radio.
Does your auto shop need a boost?
ThinkingCapital.ca/radio.
Whatever small business you run, they can help. Apply for a small business
I
loan
need
today
to borrow
at
about $20,000 with no
thinkingcapital.ca/radio.
questions asked.
You could receive up to $300,000 in as little as 24 hours.
ThinkingCapital.ca/radio.
No, I can't wait 24
just
hours.
that
bro.
easy.
That's-
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Partly cloudy, 4 degrees. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Casey Taylor. Here are the top stories this hour. One person is dead after being shot in Scarborough. It happened around 4:45 near Danforth Road and Thicketwood, which is just north of Eglinton. Still no word yet on any suspects. And Stars walk the red carpet downtown as a new batch of Canucks get inducted into the Canadian Walk of Fame. Those include Mr. Dress-Up Mark Messier, Jim Treliving, and Will Arnett. And coming up after sports,
Justice Ginsburg back in the
Must be
hospital.
famous in
on
Canada,
ABC
so I don't know who the fuck
Severson,
those
that
people
coming
are.
up.
680 News Time, 8:15. Time now for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here is Colin Teske.
So Nathan McKinnon opened the scoring for Colorado 15 seconds in. After that, the Maple Leafs would have 1, 2, 3, and Kasperi Kapanen making it 4 goals in the first frame in Denver.
Here to the Matthews line, and he fires and scores! 2 quick goals by the Maple Leafs. Shore, now Matthews, 2-1 Toronto.
Maple Leafs leading 4-1 after 20 minutes, and Colorado has put their backup goaltender in net to start the second. You could watch on Sportsnet. Elsewhere in the NHL, the Canadiens have a 3-0 lead on the New York Rangers. The Blue Jackets and Winnipeg Jets tied at 1 after 1. Meantime, in the NBA, the Raptors in Atlanta taking on the 4-11 Atlanta Hawks. Hawks leading 37-32 with 8 minutes to play in the first half. Davis Cup in history for Canada, who advanced to their first ever Davis Cup final. That was thanks to Denis Shapovalov and Vasek Pospisil, who defeated Karen Khachanov and Andrei Rublev of Russia today. Won't get any easier for Canada. They will face Rafael Nadal in Spain in the final, who got by Great Britain earlier today. The final will go tomorrow on Sportsnet 1 at 10:30. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Ryan, are you adding another log to the fire?
Yeah, there's nothing like the sweet scent of crackling wood.
Yeah, it's just getting really hot in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm dying.
Well, then why don't we move to the basement? It's cooler in there.
Okay. Wow, you finished your basement.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Right. It's okay to be proud of your renos. From Saturday to Monday at Rona, it's pre-Black Friday. Save 15% when you spend $100 or more. Plus, if you find an appliance at a lower price, we'll match it and take off 10%. Conditions apply.
The holidays are here, and it's time to get yourself all the seasonal.
Well, I think it's pretty clear which order we got to smoke in, right? We'll go with the skinny one first.
Or this old chestnut.
Great fuel efficiency, great fuel efficiency, all the way.
Or who could forget this classic?
Catalog's leading safety features.
Visit your Subaru dealer for a $500 holiday bonus at the My Subaru Gave to Me holiday event.
680 News Time, 8:17. The Supreme Court says Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is back in hospital.
Justice Ginsburg was admitted to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore last night after experiencing chills and fever, says the emailed statement from the court. Possible infection. The court says Ginsburg was given antibiotics and fluids. Her symptoms have lessened, and she's expected to be released from the hospital in the morning. Ginsburg's 86.
Ginsburg was also hospitalized earlier this year after a fall left her with 3 broken ribs. That fall also led to doctors finding and removing 2 cancerous growths from her left lung. U.S. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has picked up the endorsement of a former governor of Iowa, where he is now trailing in the polls behind Pete Buttigieg and Elizabeth Warren.
Tom Vilsack also served in the Obama administration. He told the crowd gathered in Des Moines, while there are several good Democratic candidates, former VP Biden has what it takes to lead the country now and beat President Trump.
Joe Biden has offered a progressive and a realistic vision of how to move our country forward.
Biden realizes how important this endorsement is with the Iowa caucuses.
I never thought I couldn't, but I believe, particularly with the endorsement of the Vilsacks, that we're going to win the caucus on February 3rd.
Vilsack was twice on the Democrat short list for vice president in 2004 and 2016. I'm Julie Walker.
Police in Rome, Italy have gotten caught cold-handed.
I'm ABC's Megan Williams in Rome, where police here are accused of tipping off the owners of restaurants and ice cream parlors to imminent health inspections in return for bribes of pasta and ice cream. The gelato graft allegedly occurred here in the heart of the ancient city, the Spanish Steps, as well as around the famed Trevi Fountain and other historic sites. 3 officers are under investigation. The collusion emerged as part of a larger investigation into the alleged infiltration of southern Italian mafias into the restaurant business here in Rome. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
And General Motors is recalling more than 640,000 Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500 pickup trucks. The company says hot gas from a high-tech seatbelt can set the carpet on the floorboards on fire. GM says 2 fires have been reported so far, but no one has been injured. The recall is for 2019 and 2020 model trucks. Coming up in 1 minute, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time, 8:20.
Be the first to know breaking news as soon as it happens. happens. 680 News.
Does your logistics company deliver freight and shipments near Finch in the 400? Help us save you costs and make on-time deliveries. Visit Toronto.ca and search Finch Deliveries to fill out our survey. That's Toronto.ca and search Finch Deliveries.
Weather.
It's all about the numbers. And if we're off by more than 3 degrees,
You can win our cash jackpot.
a number that continues to grow.
Enter at 680news.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Rokicki of Inline Fiberglass Windows. You're probably already aware of the benefits in selecting our fiberglass windows: beauty, performance, and durability. But did you know that our fiberglass windows were carefully selected by building professionals for the Greenpeace National Headquarters, Canada's Greenest Home, and CMHC's Healthy House? It's no coincidence that vinyl, wood, or aluminum windows were not selected for these projects. Visit us at our Factory Direct showroom or at inlinefiberglass.com.
680 News Time, 8:21. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by Oliver and Bonacini Restaurants. So we do have a crash underway, and it's causing some slowdowns on the westbound 403. It's west of Waterdown. The right lane is blocked here, and crews are tending to it. Other delays, Toronto-bound QEW. It's because of construction over top the Burlington Skyway. 2 left lanes are closed tonight as crews work on this, and we're still seeing a slowdown on the eastbound Gardner from east of the Humber Bridge to approaching Spadina. Slight slowdown on the eastbound 401 as you approach Kipling, and then again Indy Express approaching Leslie for a short stretch. You're also going to find the collector ramp onto the DVP, both express and collector ramps from the eastbound 401. A little heavy as you join the DVP, and then some extra volume right from the 401 down to about south of Lawrence on the DVP. Westbound Gardner's in really good shape onto the westbound QEW as well. And if you're Fort Erie bound as well over top the Burlington Skyway, no problems here. Just some residual delays now on the westbound 401, all because of an earlier crash that closed the highway completely. So you're backed up from about Dixon on and off to the 412, and then for a short stretch just west of the 412. But it's really not too terrible right now. Give more than just a gift card. Give an Oliver and Bonacini experience. O&B gift cards are redeemable at restaurants like Babel, Lenya, and Maison Selby. Visit oliverbonacini.com. Your next report is at 8:31, and with the forecast, here's Jason Fraser.
Lots of clouds are expected for the rest of tonight, but you can leave the rain jacket at home. We're not expecting any rain showers. We'll see a low temperature around 0 and -3 for areas north of the city. And for tomorrow, we're going to wake up to a mix of sun and clouds, but as the day wears on, we'll see more clouds rather than sun, and we'll see a high temperature near 6 degrees. A +1 will be the low temperature for tomorrow night with cloudy skies. Now for Monday, as we start off the work week, many of you could end up seeing just a quick shower move across your area. For much of the day, we'll see mostly cloudy skies, and we'll get another shot at some rain showers at night. High temperature of 6 degrees, and Tuesday looks to be like a pretty nice day with a mix of sun and clouds. We could end up seeing a late afternoon shower develop. High temperature then of 7 degrees. Our overnight low tonight is 0.
Downtown Toronto right now, partly cloudy, 4 degrees. Similar conditions over at Pearson International. 680 News Time, 8:24.
Home construction is underway.
I started an hour
Little
ago.
Lake in Midland. An idyllic 4-season lakeside community with exquisitely designed townhomes, perfect for first-time buyers, families, and those looking to downsize. All the convenience of urban life in a stunning natural setting. Visit now and choose your townhome from the mid-300s. Visit seasonsonlittlelake.com. That's seasonsonlittlelake.com. Your home for all seasons.
When you need to know.
Breaking news.
An update now on a breakthrough in the ongoing labor dispute. Traffic.
Problems on the eastbound 403 approaching Mavis. All 5 lanes are blocked. Only the shoulders are able to get by.
Weather. This is a very potent storm that we're watching right now. When you need to know.
We're here.
This is 680 News.
This portion of the news brought to you by Von Chrysler Fiat. The Aurora Winter Festival has taken over at Ontario Place. Organizers say the park has been transformed into a mythical and magical world.
We have the Arctic Retreat, Candy Cane Lane, the Whimsical Forest, and the Luminous Gardens. Each of these have their own themes and their own format, but they're just, as I said, magical and brought to life with these fantastic lighting displays and these different magical characters.
There's also a Christmas market, live music and theatrical performance, plus a skating rink and a tube park. The event continues until January 5th. Coming up in 1 minute, the 680 News Weekend Business Report, 680 News Time, 8:25.
You head out the front door and head to the car. Slide into the driver's seat and begin. Every time you start your car should be the start of an adventure. Where will yours take you? At Von Chrysler Fiat, we want you to be satisfied from the moment you walk in till the moment you drive off the lot. Come in today to start your adventure. Von Chrysler Fiat. We stand behind our cars. Join the family at VonChrysler.com.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need for your renos for less.
My dream kitchen has a stainless steel sink with a touchless faucet, a 6-burner stove, and a robot chef who cooks for my in-laws when they show up unannounced.
Well, just about everything. Until Monday, it's pre-Black Friday at Lowe's. Save 15 to 20% when you spend $100 or more. Plus, with Price Match, you get an extra 10% off if you find a lower price. Conditions apply. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
680 News Time, 8:26. Time now for the Business Report.
I'm Chris McCusker. Are you in debt? You're not alone. In fact, a new survey on debt paints a somewhat negative picture for most Canadians. The survey was done by Manulife Bank. Rick Lunny is the president and CEO.
Well, I think the stood-out for me was the fact that Canadians feel defeated by their debt. An overwhelming majority of Canadians, almost everybody, feels that the average household is just in too much debt. Beyond that, the amount of money that people are spending in relation to their income, 45% of people, which is the highest amount we've seen in our surveys, are spending more money than they're making. And then really sort of somewhat discouraging is the fact that about 40% of them feel they'll never be debt-free in their lifetime.
And maybe this is a sign of the times, Rick, but more than half of the indebted millennials who feel in control of the situation indicate technology has helped them manage their debt.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a generation that is glued to their phone, and they see that this is a way that can help them manage their debts. We launched our all-in banking app just in June, and it's already the #1 mobile banking app in Canada at the App Store. And we look at it, so why? What is the attraction to the millennials? Well, they're receiving digital advice every time they sign on.
And we are coming into a difficult time of year, so what's your advice?
Write down their goals and prioritize what they want to do. It's not enough to say, I want to be debt-free in 24 months. They have to get specific. They have to say, maybe I want to pay off $5,000 on my consumer debt within the next 24 months. And I can do that, by paying, whatever the number is, $500 a month. And then they feel good about it.
Whatever the number
is. They can move to the next one.
Rick Lunny is the president and CEO at Manulife Bank. And at the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Hello, Jack Armstrong here. I see a lot of bad calls at basketball, but not as bad as the calls people make when it comes to recycling. I see folks toss coffee cups in the blue bin all the time. Get that garbage out of here. Coffee cups are lined with plastic. They can't be recycled in Toronto. Come on, folks. Make the right call and recycle right. Learn what goes where at toronto.ca/recycle right. A message from my pals at the City of Toronto.
Now is your best chance to experience the iconic performance and head-turning design of the Range Rover Sport or the Range Rover Velar. Discover unbelievable offers on our 2019 models. For a limited time, enjoy savings up to $4,000 on remaining 2019 Range Rover Velar models. Additional savings are also available on demonstrator vehicles. Visit your Greater Toronto Area Land Rover authorized retailer for details. Offers end December 2nd. Land Rover. Above and beyond.
Checking the business travelers forecast in Calgary, mostly cloudy sky, 0 degrees. Winnipeg, overcast and 1 degree. Ottawa, mostly cloudy and 0 degrees. Downtown Toronto right now, partly cloudy, 4 similar conditions over at Pearson. 680 news time, 8:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good evening. This is Saturday, November the 23rd. I'm Eden Tbeba.
And I'm Casey Taylor. Here's what's making news this hour.
Homicide units are investigating a fatal shooting in Scarborough. Will Arnett and Mr. Dressup among this year's inductees to Canada's Walk of Fame. And a big title going to Brampton native Alessia Cara as the 2019 Alan Slate Music Impact honoree.
Residents of a Whitby neighborhood are forced from their homes after reports of a major gas leak in the area.
And a new study shows that more women are earning leadership positions in the workplace. But is it enough?
After allowing the game's goal in the first 15 seconds, the Leafs are erupting for 4 unanswered goals in Denver, while the Raptors trailing right before the half against the Atlanta Hawks. Davis Cup history for Canada, Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, many turn to StubHub to get their concert and sport tickets, but everything's priced in U.S. dollars. There is a Canadian option, though. We're looking at SeatGuide.ca. Straight ahead.
680 news time, 8:31.
Now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by Sportsnet. Eastbound 401 seeing a little bit of a slowdown on the both express and collector ramps to the DVP. South 404 is in good shape onto the DVP. We're looking at volume from the 401 to south of Lawrence. Westbound 401 delays just west of the 412, otherwise in great shape. Westbound 403 is our only crash underway. It's just west of Waterdown. The right lane is blocked. We are seeing delays. We have delays over top the Burlington Skyway, Toronto bound. 2 left lanes are closed for construction. Eastbound Gardner is still heavy from Parkside to Dufferin. Kim and Sid are also on the radio. Listen live weekday afternoons from 5 to 7 on Sportsnet 590, The Fan. Your next report is at 8:41, and with the forecast, here's Jason Fraser.
Right now, we're seeing lots of clouds across the GTA, and that's pretty much the way it's going to be for the rest of tonight, but no rain is expected. We'll see a low temperature in the lower end of the single digits, and it is going to be a bit chillier north and west of the city. Our overnight low tonight is 0.
Downtown Toronto right now, partly cloudy, 4 degrees. Same conditions over at Pearson International. 680 news time, 8:33.
We have news from Scarborough, where a man believed to be in his 20s has died after being gunned down this afternoon. Police and paramedics responding around 4:45 to an apartment in the Danforth Road and Thicketwood Drive area just north of Eglinton and found the victim with serious injuries. Paramedics immediately started CPR, but he was pronounced dead at the scene.
No further information has been given about the victim or the circumstances around his death. Also, still no word on a suspect description. Homicide detectives are now investigating.
This is All News Radio 680 News at 8:33. The keeper of the Tickle Trunk, an Olympic speed skater and the founder of Boston Pizza. They're just a few of the Canadian icons whose names are now permanently carved into a portion of King Street West. 680's Michelle Mackey reports on all the Canadians enjoying the Walk of Fame's newest inductees.
A star-studded event has 8 new inductees become etched in stone at Canada's Walk of Fame. Among the honorees, actor Will Arnett.
It's a little surreal, to be honest. I mean, it's been, they told me about it a few months back, and I was like, yeah, sure. And then now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, it feels very cool and very touched by it.
And how would his Arrested Development character Joe Bluth react?
He'd come late, and then he'd say something outrageous, and then he'd probably get arrested.
Yeah, maybe a magic trick in there.
He might try to weave some magic in there for sure.
Cindy Klassen, Mark Messier, and Mr. Dressup, some of the others inducted into the Walk of Fame. At the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, I'm Michelle Mackey.
Meantime, we have some more Canadian athletes to be proud of, and tomorrow night they'll be playing in the Davis Cup Final. Sportsnet 590 The Fans, Colin Teskey with this preview.
The amazing year for Canadian tennis continues. The duo Denis Shapovalov and Vasek Pospisil battling back from being down 3-0 in the final set to defeat a Russian team, Karen Khachanov and Andrei Rublev. The final of over 3 sets, 6-3, 3-6, 7-6, making Canada's first appearance in the Davis Cup final. Their opponents, Rafael Nadal and the Spaniards, who defeated Great Britain 7-6, 7-6 to advance 2-1. The final gets underway Sunday at 10:30 on Sportsnet 1. The Sportsnet 590 The Fan, I'm Colin Teskey.
680 News Time, 8:34. Toronto police are now facing questions as they released new stats on traffic enforcement. Police handed out fewer criminal charges last year compared to any other year since 1997. And as 680's Caitlin Lee tells us, it comes as the number of fatal crashes on city streets are on the rise.
The decrease in criminal charges has continued even after the city launched their Vision Zero initiative tackling traffic deaths. Jessica Speaker was riding her bike in 2015 when she was T-boned by a driver who did not have the right of way. She suffered a spine injury and a brain injury. She says it's a relief to hear police acknowledge a problem on their end.
Because there's been much less visible police presence, we've seen these instances of dangerous driving behavior dramatically increase, and we've seen the human toll associated with that.
Police Chief Mark Saunders committed the new traffic enforcement squad to working overtime, asking $1 million of the Vision Zero fund be put towards enforcement. Torontonians say visibility is key.
You can even just see it on the highway. Like if you have a cop car parked, all of a sudden everyone's actually driving the limit.
I'm Caitlin Lee.
680 News Time, 8:36. Some good news for drivers now. The Queen Street Rush Hour Rapid Removal Project has wrapped up. After 6 weeks and more than 1,800 parking violations, the city saw an increase of over 70% in ticketed parking offenses and over 55% increase in vehicle relocations. Toronto police say the project shortened tow truck response times and facilitated a rapid removal of vehicles off Queen Street during the afternoon rush hour. In a statement, the City of Toronto says it will further assess and analyze data to determine future recommendations to improve traffic congestion across the GTA. The initiative ended on Friday.
Peel's holiday ride program has already led to some charges.
The people that live on those streets
stopped the vehicle
supposed to
around
park.
1 this morning in Mississauga. Police tell 680 News that one man was arrested for being impaired behind the wheel. Shortly after, officers came across a loaded gun.
We were able to do this ride program and arrest this person for impaired operation, that we were able to locate this firearm and get it off the streets. So we're definitely happy about that. I wouldn't necessarily call it surprising. We are happy whenever we are able to get another firearm off the road.
A 27-year-old man from Toronto now facing weapons and impaired driving charges.
You're listening to CFTR 680 News
It's a bad
at
combination.
8:37. An annual report shows 62% of Canadians are comfortable with women leading prominent companies. But as 680 business editor Chris McCusker tells us, the numbers are moving in the right direction.
The finding is included in the Reykjavik Index for Leadership, a look at perceptions and prejudices towards women in leadership roles in G7 countries. And a little more than half the Canadians asked say they're okay with a female CEO. According to Gender, 67% of women are good with it, just 57% of men. Now, to put this into perspective, Canada tied with France for first place when the report ranked countries based on the extent to which men and women are viewed to be equally suitable for leadership. Last year, we tied with France for second place. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
This is All News Radio 680 News at 8:38. While the official start of winter is just a few weeks away, the Aurora Winter Festival is already underway at Ontario Place. Organizers say there is something for everyone to do.
We are transporting our guests to a mythical, magical world reminiscent of the North Pole. It is an enormous lighting experience. There are characters that come to life. There is a midway. There are games. There are food. There are characters. There's shopping. It's really a terrific outdoor festival.
The event continues until January 5th.
A heads up, there is a partial subway closure this weekend. There's no service on Line 1, the Yonge University line between York Mills and St. Clair stations. The TTC says it is for track work. Shuttle buses are running along that stretch, and there is also Wheel-Trans service. Regular service will return in time for the Monday morning commute.
Still to come on 680 News, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time, 8:39.
September 2018. 6 tornadoes touched down between Ottawa and Gatineau. Over 250,000 Canadians were affected, some losing their homes. When disaster strikes, Canadian radio stations use Alert Ready to deliver critical and potentially life-saving alerts. When you hear this tone,
Tune in, get informed, stay safe. Learn more about how Canadian broadcasters, including this station, are working to keep you safe at alertready.ca. For more information, visit rogersmedia.com/radio.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enbridge predicts the price of gas will drop 1 cent at midnight to $1.17.9 a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News Time, 8:40.
I'm Scott McGilvery. Selling a home can be complicated. In Toronto, I trust Frank Leo to get you top dollar. With Frank's guarantee, if you can't sell your house at a price and deadline you agree to, he'll buy it. Go to getleo.com today. That's getleo.com and start packing.
I'm here with Bill Coy of Coy Brothers, and we're talking about my outfit. Something wrong with the Christmas sweater my grandma knit me?
It just looks like it fit better in your youth. But we were talking about outfitting your Kubota tractor.
Oh, you mean with lights and tinsel?
More like a plow or salter. Kubota tractors are built tough for Canadian winters. They move heavy snow, they're four-wheel drive, and they have spacious heated cabs.
Suit up this winter with a beauty Kubota tractor from the Snow Pros at Coy Bros.
KOOYBROS.com.
When you need to know, now.
680news.com.
If you want the most money for your home in Toronto, I trust the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world, Frank Leo, and his home sale guarantee. I'm Scott McGilvery. Selling a home doesn't have to be complicated. Go to getleo.com today. That's getleo.com and start packing.
Tell us about the Lamborghini.
680 News Time, 8:41. Now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by Mazda Canada. So on the eastbound 401, everything's pretty much up to speed. We have some construction reported here in Ontario and the collectors. It's blocking the 2 right lanes, so it's a bit of a tight squeeze through here, but everything seems to be moving well. Westbound on the 401 are delays out in the Durham area. Anywhere west of Whitby over to west of the 412 are gone now, so we are back to normal. That's great news. The northbound 404 ramp to 16th Avenue closed for some construction. Southbound 404 DVP, 404 is in great shape. DVP, just a touch of volume on and off from south of York Mills to south of Lawrence. Burlington Skyway construction, Toronto bound, they've got the 2 left lanes closed. It's heavy through here, and then we still have a crash cleanup underway. It's on the westbound 403 west of Waterdown. The right lane's blocked, and we're pretty backed up because of it. The 7-passenger Mazda CX-9 is Ajax's best large utility vehicle in Canada for a 2nd year in a row. Book a test drive at Mazda.ca. Your next report is at 8:51, and with the forecast, here's Jason Fraser.
Well, many of us are seeing lots of clouds around the GTA, but we're not seeing any rain showers popping up on radar. It's going to stay that way for the rest of tonight. We'll see a low temperature around 0, and for tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. We are expected to see more clouds rather than sun towards the latter half of the afternoon. High of 6 degrees, and it'll be cloudy for tomorrow night with a low of +1. Our overnight low tonight is 0.
Right now in downtown Toronto, partly cloudy, 4 degrees, and at Pearson Airport, partly cloudy and 3, but feeling more like -1 with the wind chill.
Bad things. There's a lot of bad.
Drake's tattoo artist wanted to give the Toronto rapper a truly unique housewarming gift to celebrate his move into a new multi-billion-dollar mansion in the upscale Bridle Path neighborhood. And Albert Scoff said that he asked himself what to get the global superstar before embarking on a year-long visual art project that turns 50 real US $100 bills into a framed showcase of entertainers, sports icons, and politicians. The rapper revealed a piece he calls The Many Faces of Benjamin Franklin on Instagram yesterday, highlighting pencil-work sketches of Whitney Houston, LeBron James, and Tiger Woods. Still to come on 680 News, we'll have details on why knowing grammar conjunctions cost one game show contestant $10,000. 680 News Time, 8:43.
This is Philip Diogar.
Knowing them
I'm
costs
the tax lawyer to call when you owe big tax, because I can get rid of the tax in ways an accountant or bankruptcy trustee cannot. And unlike them,
you
I
get
can keep your assets and your personal
revenue
life
agents
safe
off the
from the tax
lands, buddy.
Don't wait until you've tried everything else and failed. Fast track to the end. Call Diogardi at 877-4DIO-TAX or visit diogardi.ca.
There's an old saying, don't work harder, work smarter.
And that's just what your appliances should be doing for you. For a limited time at Appliance Canada, save 25% to $500 on all qualifying Energy Star appliances with the Ontario Energy Savings Program. Dishwashers, fridges, laundry, and more. Find energy-efficient brands that'll have you feeling like a professor of applianceology. See store for details. Appliance Canada, for your home, for your life. Visit appliancecanada.com for a location near you in Toronto, Vaughan, or Mississauga. This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Overcast and 4 in downtown Toronto. Good evening. The 680 News Podcast Center, I'm Eden Tababa, and here are the top stories this hour. Homicide units are investigating a fatal shooting in Scarborough. Toronto police were called to Danforth and Thicketwood Drive, just north of Eglinton, around 4 this afternoon. A man in his 20s succumbed to serious injuries on scene. There's no information on any suspects at this time. Mr. Dressa, BoJack Horseman, and the inventor of basketball are just some of the great Canadians making their mark on the Walk of Fame at the annual award show this evening. The neighborhood of Garden Road in Taunton has been evacuated by Durham Police and Whitby after a large gas leak at a local plaza. Officers are working alongside Enbridge Gas employees to speed up repairs. 680 News Time, 8:45. Now 680 Sports with Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Colin Teske.
Eden, the Maple Leafs are erupting for 4 unanswered goals in the first period in Colorado, but in the second, the Avalanche changing goalies, and that seemed to change their momentum.
Casey doubles over. Now he stays in the play after blocking the shot.
Burakovsky making it 4-2, and it stays that way now with just over 2 minutes to play in the second. The two players involved in last summer's blockbuster trade between Toronto and Colorado performing well so far. Nazem Kadri and Tyson Barrie each with 2 points. Meantime, the undermanned Raptors in Atlanta, and so far they've had no answer for Trae Young in the first half.
Over top of Van Vliet. Freddie covered it, but it didn't matter. Trae Young from about 36 feet buries the triple.
And Trae Young with 16 in the first half. The Atlanta Hawks leading Toronto 61-52. Elsewhere in the NHL, Montreal led 3-0 after the first against the Rangers, but New York has battled back. They now trail 4-3 late in the second, while the Blue Jackets up 3-2 on the Winnipeg Jets. Davis Cup in history for Canada, who advanced their first ever Davis Cup final. Denis Shapovalov and Vasek Pospisil defeating Karen Khachanov and Andrei Rublev of Russia today. They will meet Spain in the final tomorrow. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour, or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
680 News Time, 8:47.
Introducing Galleria on the Park, a new DuPont City Park community coming soon to DuPont and Dufferin. Toronto's most inspired new neighborhood of condos, shops, and places to gather. All surrounded by an incredible 8-acre park. Galleria on the Park. Live as one. Condominiums from the high 400s. Register today at Galleria on the Park.
4.5. More than 4.5.
We all know what Black Friday means. With so many deals and so little time, it's tough to find the one you want. But what if you could get a deal on something tough? Like Canada's best-selling truck, the Ford F-150. Your Ford store has you covered. Right now, get over $12,000 in total value on select new 2019 F-150 models. But only for a limited time. Black Friday ends November 27th. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
This is All News Radio 680 News. A grammar mistake has cost one graduate student in the U.S. thousands of dollars on the game show Wheel of Fortune.
Contestant Kristen Shaw was eager to close out the board after accumulating nearly $10,000 worth of prizes. Host Pat Sajak told her to be cautious, but Kristen made the major mistake of adding the conjunction "and" to her answer, causing her to lose everything she'd initially won. Viewers on Twitter immediately erupted, defending Shaw, saying the rule is ridiculous.
A Wheel of Fortune spokesperson has defended the game's rules, saying that contestants are thoroughly briefed prior to the show. And according to a new study, medication and lifestyle changes may be as effective as surgery for heart disease. U.S. researchers looked at over 5,000 patients with heart blockages, and they found surgery to put in a stent was more likely to improve the patient's quality of life.
You know you can't afford 100,000. You afford $50 a week for the rest of your life.
The risk of heart attack or stroke. The studies didn't perform any better than medication or diet and exercise. And a stunning ancient discovery is being unveiled in Egypt.
Hundreds of mummies, a one-of-a-kind discovery dating back to 7th century BC, says Egypt's Secretary General of Antiquities, Dr. Mustafa Waziri. At the Step Pyramid in Saqqara, where reporters and others marveled at the mummies and glass cases, not of humans.
Animals, mummified, and statues.
For the first time, they found a complete mummy of a small lion cubs, and 3 other big cats will undergo scans to determine their identities: cubs, leopards, cheetahs, or tigers. Chuck Segerson, ABC News.
Coming up in just 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time, 8:50.
Getting you where you need to go
Faster.
The most traffic in Toronto. 680 News. This fall, 680 News is proud to support Movember.
The leading global charity committed to changing the face of men's health.
In Canada.
Fuck God, this would all be gone if it would look right. I burn out the razors. Driver shot, Lamborghini stolen, and carjacking incident. This is here. Well, just not far from here. York Regional Police are investigating after a male was shot during a carjacking incident Friday night. The call came in at around 8:30 p.m. for a report of a shooting. That's a report of a report. A report of a shooting in the Major Mackenzie Drive and Woodbine Avenue area, police said. Police said the male driver of the vehicle was approached by 3 suspects and was shot in the leg. The suspects then took off in a red Lamborghini that has the license plate number. It's not the numbers, but it's 888, but it's spelled. The shooting victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries and is being treated in the hospital. Investigators said that if you see this vehicle, do not approach it or the suspects. Instead, call the police right away. Yeah, I don't think I will. I'm going to steal it from them or something. They got guns. I don't know how you got 3 people. Somebody else says the same thing in the comments. How did you get that many people in the car to drive away? I thought it only had 2 seats.
You approach Waterdown just for a short stretch west of it. Toronto-bound QEW overtopped the Burlington Skyway. Crews with the 2 left lanes still closed. This is all for regular routine maintenance on the overnight, and it is slow still crossing over top the Burlington Skyway if you're coming into the city this way. Southbound DVP at just a bit of volume from south of York Mills to south of Lawrence. It isn't terrible at all. We have a closure of the southbound Bathurst ramp to the eastbound 407. This is for road work. It should be in place until around 10 o'clock tonight. We'll let you know when it reopens. And just a single left lane squeezing by the construction east 401 at Hurontario. It's in the collectors, but everything's moving up to speed.
How's
if you have
the
an
traffic?
allergy
It
to
isn't
ragweed,
terrible
Clienta
at
Research
all.
in Mississauga is looking for volunteers for ragweed allergy study. You could be compensated up to $1,720. Visit at clienta.com. Next report at 9:01 with the forecast. Here's Jason Fraser.
Well, after seeing double-digit temperatures yesterday morning, temperatures over the next 5 days will barely reach about 6 degrees. For tonight, we'll see a low temperature around 0, and many of us will see lots of clouds, but no rain is expected. Tomorrow, we're going to see a mix of sun and clouds, but as the afternoon progresses, many of us will see more clouds rather than sun. We'll see a high near 6 degrees, and for Monday, a quick shower develops in the morning, and then we'll see mostly cloudy skies throughout the day, but can't rule out a possible shower at night as well. High temperature then of 6 degrees, and Tuesday, we'll see a high temperature then of about 7 degrees, and a mix of sun and clouds, and a small possibility of seeing a late afternoon rain shower. Our overnight low tonight is 0.
Right now in downtown Toronto, overcast 4 degrees, but feeling like 0 with the wind chill. And over at Pearson Airport, cloudy 3, but feeling like -1.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Porter & Charles Cooking. Dreaming of a kitchen reno? Affordable European appliances from the Porter & Charles collection are at an exciting 15% off during the a la carte sale. Ends December 31st. Visit ela.ca for details.
Coming up at 9 o'clock, we'll have the latest on the homicide investigation into a fatal shooting in Scarborough. 680 News Time, 8:53.
The winter sales event is on at Mercedes-Benz Durham with exclusive offers on 2020 and remaining 2019 models. Financing from 0.9%, cash credits up to $20,000, and 3 payments waived on select models.
Man shot in West Queen West. I can see is Dover Court and Queen. Police are investigating after a man was shot outside a bar on West Queen West early Saturday morning. They have to say West twice out here. That's how far west we are. Early Saturday morning, several callers reported the sound of gunshots around 2 a.m. near Queen Street West and Dovercourt Road. That's where that picture is. On the north side looking west, if you can see the picture. A male victim was found on the scene suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A suspect was last seen fleeing the area west on Queen Street West. A description of the man has not been made available. How do you know it was a man?
Seconds, our weekend business report. 680 News Time, 8:55.
Smart people with smart speakers always listen to Alexa, play 680 News.
Playing 680 News. Here's to spending holiday time with family and not letting financial stress get in the way. Here's to getting the loan you need and taking control of your finances. At Easy Financial, we can help when banks aren't an option this holiday season with loans up to $35,000. Plus, from November 18th to 23rd, get no interest on the last 6 months of your loan. Apply online in minutes at easyfinancial.com or at over 300 locations. Conditions apply. Easy Financial. Better tomorrows.
From finger painting to times tables, school's the start of a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to prepare kids for the future, their future. So we're updating it to give kids the tools they need to support positive mental health, develop real-life skills, and prepare for what's next, so they're ready to rise to every test, during school and after. Learn how the government is improving your child's educational journey at ontario.ca/education for tomorrow. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
680 News Time, 8:56. Now time for the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Richard Southern. Buying tickets for sports events or for concerts on the so-called secondary market has become very popular. Oftentimes, it's the only way to get your hands on tickets. StubHub is the best known company in that space, but when you go on StubHub, you're paying everything in American dollars. Well, there is a Canadian option here. It's called SeatGiant.ca. Canadian owned and operated. All the prices are in Canadian dollars. Josh Matlow is the director of operations.
We know how difficult it was with the exchange rate, the banks, the fees, the processing. There's a lot of work to be done, and it's not cheap. So I'm sure they know that, and that's why they probably haven't flipped that switch. However, they're still okay with being in U.S. dollars because people are still buying, not knowing that there is actually a Canadian option. What differentiates us from, obviously, the American companies is that our fees are 14% all in. They're usually between 20, mostly 25% US dollars. Now, you got to factor in the bank fees. When you're doing a conversion on your credit card, you don't see this, you just see the total amount on your credit card. But there are bank fees that are included in that just for doing the conversion on top of the exchange rate and all the extra fees. They also do charge for processing and sometimes delivery. We have $0 processing, $0 delivery. So it's basically like you would see a tax, 14% all in.
SeatGiant.ca operates just the middleman. They get tickets from authentic dealers and resell them to the public.
It's very important that people know that we don't make the pricing, meaning we're not profiting on the ticket. We're just the service. So we're the mediator between the buyer and the seller to make sure that they send the tickets accordingly. They're authentic tickets. We can vet them because we're not allowing the public to sell on our marketplace. We know where they're coming from. They're safe and secure.
That's Josh Matlow with SeatGiant.ca. And at the Business Center, I'm Richard Southern.
It's not the primary market. It's not the secondary market. What is it? 1.5 market?
Being an entrepreneur means always having ideas to grow my business. And when I turned to BDC to bring my ideas to life, they came up with solutions I hadn't even thought of.
At BDC, being the only bank exclusively devoted to entrepreneurs means investing ourselves 100% in our clients' projects. So when you turn to us to help grow your business, it's our turn to come up with ideas.
Go further with BDC. BDC. Financing. Advising. Smarts. Be the first to know. Breaking news as soon as it happens. 680 News. What does your dream home look like? Hi, I'm Jeannie Becker, and for over 50 years, Georgian Renovations has been designing spaces you'll love. We know how hard it is making a decision to renovate. So for a limited time only, we're offering our interior design services for the incredible value of $5,000. See your vision come to life before you decide on your renovation, and buy with confidence, knowing exactly what your dream home will look like. Schedule your design consultation today
money
at
that there was nothing on the
GeorgianReno.com.
news. It's there's
Weather.
three shootings
About the numbers.
so far.
And if we're off by more
this
than 3
weekend.
degrees,
You can win our cash
Today,
gift off.
a number that continues to grow.
Enter at 680news.com.
Now time for the regional weather forecast. In Milton, mostly cloudy, 2 degrees. Newmarket, cloudy and 0. In Oshawa, overcast, 2 degrees. Richmond Hill, overcast and 1. And right now in downtown Toronto, overcast, 4 degrees, but feeling like 0 with the wind chill. This is CFTR 680 News, part of the free Radio Player Canada app. At the single tone, 680 News time, 9 o'clock.
Number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Good evening. This is Saturday, November 23rd. I'm Casey Taylor.
And I'm Eden Tavon. Here's what's making news this hour.
Homicide detectives are on the hunt for a suspect after a man believed to be in his 20s was gunned down in Scarborough.
Lego Batman, the Moose, Mr. Dress Up, and a gym coach are among the Canucks earning a place on the Walk of Fame.
Team Canada drops Russia in the semi-finals to earn its first ever berth in the Davis Cup finals.
And Toronto police searching for a man they say was apparently yelling and swinging a large axe at garages and transit poles downtown.
The Toronto Raptors trying to slow down Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. Maple Leafs up 2 after 40 minutes in Colorado in Davis Cup history for Canada. Sports at 15.
And coming up in business,
Tell me he
your
was wearing
research
a
shows
plaid
how the
shirt.
recession a decade ago hurt the careers of people who entered the workforce back then. We'll hear from a senior economist at RBC.
Let me call this guy a
680 News time,
lumberjack.
901.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig here.
This report is brought to you by TSC. So just a delay over top the Burlington Skyway now. If you're Toronto bound, it's all because of construction. It's backed up from about Eastport again. Crews are working in the 2 left lanes. Otherwise, just taking a look on all the cameras now. Everything is back up to speed everywhere. It's not a terrible drive out there right now. It's actually really nice. A bit of construction eastbound 401 through here, Ontario, and the collectors, just a single left lane getting by in the collector lanes, but everything's up to speed. We have the southbound Bathurst ramp onto the eastbound 401. This is shut down for construction until about 10 o'clock tonight. Northbound 404 ramp to 16th Avenue, that's closed. And now we have the 4 drive ramps to the eastbound QBW. Those have been closed now for some construction. Recharge and rejuvenate your skin with Elizabeth Grant's Mineral Packed Caviar Recharge Set, available at TSC. Shop today and save over 50%. Shop tsc.ca. Today's shopping choice. Your next report is at 9:11. And with the forecast, here's Jason Fraser.
Well, for the rest of tonight, we'll see increasing cloudiness throughout the GTA, but don't worry about any rain showers because we're not expecting any rain to develop. We'll see a low temperature in the lower end of the single digit. It's -3 for north of the city, including Vaughan and Richmond Hill. Our overnight low tonight is 0.
Right now in downtown Toronto, overcast, 4 degrees, but feeling like 0 with the wind chill. And at Pearson Airport, partly cloudy, 3, but feeling like -1.
There will be no rain. Why did you mention it? You're fucking with
A man has died after being gunned down this evening in Scarborough. Officers arriving to the scene near Danforth Road, just north of Eglinton, around 4:45. Toronto police say they found a victim suffering gunshot wounds, and paramedics immediately started CPR, but he was pronounced dead at the scene.
EMS say that the victim is a man in his 20s, and at this time, there's no further information on the victim or suspects. Homicide detectives have now taken over the investigation.
680 News time, 9:03. Canadian Olympic athletes, singers, and architects made an appearance at the Metro Toronto Convention Center this evening for the 21st Annual Canada's Walk of Fame Gala. 680's Michelle Mackey reports on all the homegrown star power.
8 new inductees to Canada's Walk of Fame. Hockey legend Mark Messier among this year's honorees.
Just honored to be here, and a lot of people are to be
tell me about the
thank for getting me to this position.
Joining Mark, Cindy Klassen, Will Arnett, Mr. Dressup, Dr. James Naismith, Frank Gehry, Triumph, and Jim Treleving. And 23-year-old Brampton native Alessia Cara named the 2019 Alan Slate Music Impact honoree.
I have my family here, which is great, except my brother who's got some school stuff to do. But I got my family here, my best friend, so like my management, everyone has been here since day one, and I'm very excited to just hang with them tonight and just have fun.
At the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, I'm Michelle Mackey.
Meantime, we've got some more Canucks to be proud of, and these ones swing rackets. Team Canada continues their success today at the Davis Cup, beating the Russians in the semis to earn a berth in the finals for the first time. Sportsnet 590 The Fans' Colin Teske has a heads up on what's going back and forth. Watching the ball, he's got a preview of tomorrow's matchup.
The amazing year for Canadian tennis continues as Denis Shapovalov and Vasek Pospisil making Canadian tennis history today, defeating Russian team Karen Khachanov and Andrei Rublev 6-3, 3-6, 7-6 in the Davis Cup semi-final. It is Canada's first ever appearance in the Davis Cup final. Their opponent will be Rafael Nadal and the Spaniards, who needed a thrilling victory over Great Britain today, 7-6, 7-6, to advance to the final. You can watch everything on Sportsnet 1 starting Sunday, 10:30. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, I'm Colin Teske.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. This portion of the news brought to you by Butler Mortgage. Toronto police continuing to search for a man apparently swinging an axe downtown. Officers called to the King and Charlotte area earlier this evening for reports of a yelling man swinging a large axe, hitting garages and transit poles. He was last seen in the Spadina and Queens Quay area. Police say there are no reported injuries.
This is All News Radio 680 News. Some disturbing stats from Toronto police this past week showing the fewest amount of drivers in over 2 decades were charged with criminal offences last year. This is 2018 brought the most pedestrian and cyclist deaths we've seen in 10 years. 680's Caitlin Lee has more.
Jessica Spiker's life was permanently altered back in 2015 when she was struck by a driver that made an illegal left-hand turn.
It's nice to see the police acknowledge finally that this thing that we've seen anecdotally talked about as a huge problem is in fact based in reality. It is a huge problem that the police have dropped out their enforcement to such shockingly low levels.
Torontonians I spoke to on the street say a more visible police presence would help, even with non-criminal offenses like distracted driving that can have equally dangerous consequences.
People would be more on their guard or something if there was more police.
Do you know if someone sees a police officer, they're more prone to put their phone away?
Toronto police are reinstating a specialized traffic enforcement team. Chief Mark Saunders suggesting this week those officers should be working overtime with money from the Vision Zero Fund. I'm Caitlin Lee.
And a heads up for drivers in the city, the Queen Street Rush Hour Rapid Removal Project is no more after 6 weeks and more than 1,800 parking violations. The city saw an increase of 71% in ticketed parking offenses and 56% in increase in vehicle relocations. Toronto police say they are working with the city to find future recommendations toward alleviating traffic on our city streets. The project ended on Friday.
This is 680 News. Torontonians are speaking out about the ongoing violence in Iraq. Hundreds rallying outside of Old City Hall today against Iraq's current government, calling for reform to the country's electoral laws. Protests were triggered by widespread anger over alleged corruption, mass unemployment, and failing public services. Violence and riots began at the beginning of October.
Well, Google got hit with a whole lot of hate this past week from people who live in Scarborough, but the search engine has redeemed itself. When you Googled Scarborough,
a picture of Scarborough
the
Town
default
Center
photo that originally came up was a collapsing house at Kingston and Birchmount Roads, with bricks all over the driveway. Now, when you Google Scarborough, a photo of the Greek Theatre at Guild Park and gardens along the bluffs come up instead. So no more crumbling houses.
680 News Time, 9:08. A new outbreak of E. coli has officials in the U.S. warning against romaine lettuce growing in the San Diego, California area.
Vegetables will kill
Led to
you.
a blanket warning against romaine lettuce. This time, the advisory from the CDC applies only to romaine lettuce from the Salinas, California region, including heads, hearts, and pre-cut salad mixes.
If folks have it, you should look specifically to see where it was grown, where it was harvested, where is this product, produced from.
Chris Valadez, president of the Grower Shipper Association of Central California. Health officials say E. coli contamination is to blame for the latest outbreak, which has so far sickened at least 40 people in 16 states. Mano Rivera, ABC News.
Within 30 seconds, we will check the price at the pump. 680 News Time, 9:09.
680 News, Toronto.
Every day in Canada, 3,000 mortgages renew. Mortgage rates are falling. Important announcement. If your mortgage renews in the next 90 days, contact butlermortgage.ca. 2.38%, 5-year fixed rate at renewal. No gimmicks, no fees. It's the same mortgage as your bank. If you qualify, you save thousands. 2.38%, 5-year fixed mortgage rate at butlermortgage.ca.
License number 12118. High ratio fixed rate transfers. APR of 2.39%.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Empro predicts the price will drop by a penny at midnight to $1.17.9 a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News Time, 9:10. Up in 1 minute, traffic and weather together.
It's here. Our instant savings event is on.
It's a large man with an axe. How many of those are there?
RedTag.ca and instantly save. Plus, get 250 air miles bonus miles with your trip. Book your vacation now and pay for it monthly with RedTag.ca's new, easy-to-use payment option. Don't wait. Plan your.
Did you say it was a large axe or just an axe? Like, was it like small?
What's better than a win-win? Easy.
Like a super-sized double-edged axe.
Situation at Tasco Appliances. For a limited time, all Tasco Energy Saver appliances are up to 25% off. So you save on price and save on energy costs with hundreds of appliances, like the Liebherr BioFresh refrigerator. Energy savings rebate funded by the Government of Canada. Visit TascoAppliance.ca for details.
680 News Time, 9:11. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here is Greg Gear.
This report is brought to you by Marquee Jewelers. So some construction and some delays. Toronto-bound QEW overtopped the Burlington Skyway. Crews with the 2 left lanes closed off tonight, and we're still seeing delays from about just past Eastport now. Seems to be getting better through here, but we're still slow crossing over the Skyway. Otherwise, everything's up to speed. Just some construction out and about. Eastbound QEW through Royal Windsor. They've closed the 2 right lanes now, and no access to the East Kiwi from Ford Drive. Both the ramps are closed down. Westbound 401 crew setting up shop just west of McCallum with the left lane closed. Eastbound 401, you'll find them through here, Ontario, and the collectors, just a single left lane getting through, but everything's up to speed. North 404 ramp to 16th Avenue, that's also closed down. Southbound Bathurst ramp to the East 407, that's going to be shut down until around 10 o'clock tonight. Every day is Black Friday at Marquee Jewelers. Get special deals on all rings, bracelets, chains, you name it. Don't miss out. 2 Bloor Street West at Yonge. Your next report is at 9:21, and with the forecast, here's Jason Fraser.
Well, lots of clouds are expected throughout the GTA tonight, but you can leave the umbrella at home as we are not expecting any rain showers to develop. We'll see a low temperature around 0, -3 for areas north of the city, including Vaughan and Richmond Hill. For tomorrow, we're going to see a mix of sun and clouds. Overall, it should be a nice day, and we'll see a high temperature of 6. And for tomorrow night, cloudy with a low of +1. Our overnight low tonight is 0.
Downtown Toronto right now, partly cloudy, 4 degrees. Similar conditions over at Pearson International. 680 News Time, 9:13.
Black Friday happens all November long, and now Batchia's Business Summit and Rexdale Holiday. And here's Holidays Honest Lineup Sales Event.
I want to know more about it.
Now getting you ready for winter. It's a $500 winter tire credit on select models. And keeping your wallet happy, it's still pay for 90 days on all new models. And last but not least, it's a special Black Friday in-store offer. It's the fun deal of the year.
Celebrate Black Friday at Knob Body Mississauga and Rexdale Hyundai. See store for details.
Obstacles and mortgages go together like first dates and spaghetti. Especially if you've been through a bankruptcy, consumer proposal, or debt settlement. Remember the name Duga. Jaspreet Duga and his team have options for you. Alternative mortgages, private mortgages. Jaspreet Duga works for you, not the lenders. So you get the best terms and rates. Get started today at dugamortgages.ca. That's DHUGGA mortgages.ca. And tear down those obstacles. License 12880.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Mostly cloudy, 4 degrees. Good evening from the 680 News broadcast center in downtown Toronto. I'm Casey Taylor. Here are the top stories this hour. Homicide detectives are now on the case in Scarborough, where a man believed to be in his 20s was gunned down this afternoon. It happened around 4:45 near Danforth in Thickenwood, north of Eglinton. No word yet on suspects. And what do Mr. Dress-Up, Will Arnett, Mark Messier, and Jim Treliving all have in common? Well, they're all the newest members of Canada's Walk of Fame, inducted this evening downtown. But Jim, turkey dinner pizza? Come on. 680 News Time, 9:15. Time now for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here is Colin Teskey.
After giving up a goal in the first 15 seconds of the hockey game in Colorado, the Leafs are erupting for 4 goals in the first period, but just 1 goal in the second, scored by Colorado.
He doubles over, now he stays in the play after talking to some first play
So Burakovsky making it a 4-2 game. It remains that way with 15 minutes to go in the hockey game you can watch on Sportsnet. The 2 players that were involved in that blockbuster trade between these 2 teams, Nazem Kadri and Tyson Barrie, each with 2 points against their former team. Happening now on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. It's the undermanned Raptors taking on the Atlanta Hawks. And after trailing at the half, Toronto has taken the lead in the third quarter. Pascal Siakam with 22 points. Raptors ahead 87-85 against Atlanta. Elsewhere in the NHL, the Canadiens still holding a 4-3 advantage over the New York Rangers. They once led 3-0 after 1. While the Jets have tied things against the Columbus Blue Jackets, they are tied 3-3 on Sportsnet 360. Davis Cup and Canada advancing to their first ever final after Denis Shapovalov and Vasek Pospisil defeating Karen Khachanov and Andrei Rublev of Russia. Today they will meet Spain in the final tomorrow at 10:30 on Sportsnet 1. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Tonight at 8, Detective Reggie Stronghold makes solving crime look as easy as switching to RBC.
Switching to RBC is the new easy. Switch by January 31st and you can receive up to $1,100 in combined value. Other terms and conditions apply. Visit rbc.com/switching bonus.
Here's 4 holiday carolers working in unison to demonstrate Subaru's symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Nice. Now here's what that sounds like if it wasn't full-time. Again, full-time all-wheel drive. Not full-time all-wheel drive. And in a Canadian winter, that doesn't sound right. Visit your Subaru dealer for a $500 holiday bonus at the My Subaru Gave to Me holiday event. Tonight at 8, Detective Reggie Stronghold makes solving crime look as easy as switching to RBC.
Switching to RBC is the new easy. Switch by January 31st and you can receive up to $1,100 in combined value. Other terms and conditions apply. Visit rbc.com/switching bonus.
680 News Time, 9:17. The notorious RBG is in hospital yet again. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg admitted to Baltimore's Johns Hopkins last night after experiencing chills and fever earlier in the day. A statement from her office says Ginsburg will stay in hospital for further evaluation and treatment of any possible infection. They believe she should be good to be released as soon as tomorrow. Ginsburg was also hospitalized earlier this year after a fall, left her with 3 broken ribs. That fall also, though, leading doctors to find and remove 2 cancerous growths from her left lung. Conservative Party leader Andrew Scheer has fired 2 top aides in his office as the party deals with the fallout of the election loss.
There's a shakeup on the staff of Conservative leader Andrew Scheer, but it is not clear why. He's dismissed 2 top staff in wake of the October election loss. In a letter sent out this morning, Scheer announced that Chief of Staff Marc-Andre Leclerc and Communications Director Brock Harrison have been let go immediately.
In real life anymore.
Mark Belanger and Simon Jeffries will act as interim Chief of Staff and Director of Communications. From the Canadian Press, I'm Roger Ward.
680 News Time, 9:18. Video from the Kurdish People's Protection Units, or YPG group, shows intense fighting in Syria with forces backed by Turkey.
The Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, of which the YPG are a main component, say Turkish forces have launched attacks with tanks, artillery, and a large number of fighters. Syrian government troops are also deployed to the area after US troops stationed there were withdrawn. Turkey is seeking to expand its areas of influence in Syria's north, pushing Kurdish fighters away from its borders. Ankara views Kurdish fighters as terrorists for their links to a Kurdish insurgency inside Turkey. The same Kurdish fighters had been the main partner of the United States in combating the Islamic State group in Syria. I'm Sarah Bassett.
And at another time in history, the indictment of 2 jail guards responsible for monitoring Jeffrey Epstein the night he died might have served as an emphatic rebuttal to suspicions the wealthy sex offender was actually murdered, but not in 2019.
Conspiracy theories flourish even after the medical examiner says Epstein hanged himself, and officials say video surveillance shows no one was in Epstein's locked cell. No matter. Social media buzz was Epstein didn't kill himself, fueled by doubts from family, friends, and victims. Attorney General William Barr even told the Associated Press he had suspicions, but realized failures by jail guards allowed Epstein to commit suicide. University of Chicago professor Eric Oliver, who studies conspiracy theories, says no amount of evidence is likely to change some people's minds when there is so much mistrust of the political system and the media. I'm Julie Walker.
I know you can't sneak nothing
in 1 minute, 680
680
News Time, 9:20.
All we said was William Ashley and...
The William Ashley Warehouse Sale? It's finally here! I love the William Ashley Warehouse Sale. 20 departments, 25,000 square feet. It's Toronto's most iconic warehouse sale. Come on, let's go!
You can't have this much fun shopping online. The 44th annual William Ashley Warehouse Sale returns with up to 90% off tableware, kitchenware, and home decor by all the famous brands you know and love from William Ashley. Sale on now. 111 Trinity Road, Highway 400 in Langstaff.
Let Purdy's Chocolatier take one more thing off your list this season. Introducing Business Gifting with Purdy's Chocolatier. Canada's favorite chocolates, gift wrapped and ready for you. Customized packaging and personalized notes available with every order. Sit back and let Purdy's take care of all your business gifting needs. Make your client gifts or employee recognition easy and meaningful this holiday with Purdy's. Find out more at purdys.com.
680 News Time, 9:21. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
This report brought to you by the 407 ETR, where if you're trying to get on the eastbound 407, the southbound Bathurst ramp to the highway is still closed down. That's scheduled to reopen around 10 o'clock tonight. Eastbound on the 401, construction through here, Ontario, and the collectors, just a single left lane getting by through here, but no delays. Westbound on the 401, we have construction now west of Macau, and the left lane's closed. Northbound 404 ramp to 16th Avenue, that's been shut down. We have some delays over top the Burlington Skyway. If you're Toronto bound, 2 left lanes are closed for some overnight construction. It's slow. East QE through Royal Windsor, crews have the 2 right lanes blocked off, and the 4 drive ramps to the eastbound QEW are also closed. We have a crash on the northbound 427 as you approach the 407. It's a right lane that's blocked through here, but no problems, no delays. 407 ETR is your fast, safe, and reliable choice, saving drivers over 30 million hours each year so you can spend more time with the people that matter most. Your next report is at 9:31, and with the forecast, here's Jason Fraser.
Lots of clouds are expected for the rest of tonight, but you can leave the rain jacket at home. We're not expecting any rain showers. We'll see a low temperature around 0 and -3 for areas north of the city. And for tomorrow, we're going to wake up to a mix of sun and clouds, but as the day wears on, we'll see more clouds rather than sun, and we'll see a high temperature near 6 degrees. A +1 will be the low temperature for tomorrow night with cloudy skies. Now for Monday, as we start off the work week, many of you could end up seeing just a quick shower move across your area. For much of the day, we'll see mostly cloudy skies, and we'll get another shot at some rain showers at night. High temperature of 6 degrees, and Tuesday looks to be like a pretty nice day with a mix of sun and clouds. We could end up seeing a late afternoon shower develop. High temperature then of 7 degrees. Our overnight low tonight is 0.
Downtown Toronto right now, overcast and 4 degrees. Similar conditions over at Pearson International. Coming up at 9:30, homicide detectives are investigating after a man believed to be in his 20s was gunned down in Scarborough. He was pronounced dead at the Senior Danforth in Eglinton. No word yet on suspects. 680 News Time, 9:24.
Henry's massive Black Friday sale starts Friday. Henry's, Canada's greatest camera store, has huge savings on camera gear and accessories for photographers, videographers, and content creators. At Henry's, they always guarantee the best price with their won't be beat price policy. Their camera experts can help you with whatever you need, whether you're just getting started or if you're a seasoned pro. Visit henrys.com for more information or to find a store closest to you. Henry's, Canada's greatest camera store.
Now you can listen to 680 News on your Sonos smart speaker,
That's
Amazon
the
Echo,
only
or
camera
any
store,
Google
right?
Chromecast-enabled device like Google Home with the free Radio Player Canada app.
In the car, tune in using Radio Player on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Radio Player Canada. It's where Canadian radio plays.
680 News Time, 9:25. This portion of the news brought to you by Sleep Country. Your transit ride through Midtown could involve a shuttle bus this weekend, both today and tomorrow. There is no subway service between York Mills and St. Clair stations on the Yonge portion of Line 1. That is because of track work. Shuttle buses are running. You can also take the University Spadina part of Line 1 or the 97 Yonge bus, though keep in mind it does not go south of Davisville Station. Regular service does pick back up Monday morning. Coming up in 1 minute, business report.
Black Friday 101 from Sleep Country. The best way to get people in the door for Black Friday is to
Communicate urgency. What are you waiting for?
Well, I was going to.
Hurry!
Yeah, but first I
Run to Sleep Country as fast as you can.
I got this. Beat the rush at Sleep Country with amazing Black Friday prices on mattresses, duvets, pillows, and more. Plus, get a hot price Simmons Beauty Rest Euro Top Queen mattress that helps reduce motion transfer for just $4.99. Shop online or in store. But hurry, this price ends tomorrow. Sleep Country, all for sleep.
If you depend on reading glasses to see emails and text messages, it's time to fix your eyes, not your font size. With LASIK MD's Presby Vision procedure, see near, far, and everything in between without bifocals, progressive lenses, or reading glasses. And for a limited time, we're offering up to 20% off the price of your Presby Vision procedure, so you can start enjoying clear vision today. Book your free, no-obligation consultation at LASIKMD.com. Financing available.
680 News Time, 9:26. Time now for the weekend business report.
I'm Richard Denman. The recession that followed the global financial crisis ended a decade ago. But new research confirms there are long-lasting negative effects on the careers of many young people. Royal Bank senior economist Andrew Ogopsowicz says the findings line up with earlier research on people entering the labor market for the first time during a recession. So looking at those who graduated in the 2008-2009 recession,
people's wages grew slightly less than what was beforehand, and also people tended to be in occupations that were less further along once they entered their 30s. People were less likely to be in management occupations once they got into the 30s, and they're less likely to be into skilled, specialized type occupations.
Yet the past several years have produced an historically strong jobs market and stiff competition for skilled workers.
But if we remember back since 2009, it took a long time for youth unemployment to come down. The recession seemed to target young people who didn't have much experience, didn't have much skills, didn't have the same connections, skills, ride out such things like the ride out the recession. And so it took them a long time to get started. And basically, because so much of earnings growth and career growth happens early on in someone's career, that hurdle right at the beginning, it really set people back.
His advice for people graduating and entering the workforce when a recession might be around the corner is to add the general to the specific.
Focus on communication, teamwork, collaboration, leadership, thinking about these types of skills and actively trying to acquire them and showing other people that you have them. If your skill set is more of these general type skills, it doesn't necessarily matter which specific type of role you end up in. You can pivot quite easily if you have those general skills.
That's why I say we're going to have a whole bunch of
RBC
city
senior
jobs
economist
in a row.
Andrew Ogopsowitz. In the Business Center, I'm Richard Detman.
We all know what Black Friday means. With so many deals and so little time, it's tough to find the one you want. But what if you could get a deal on something tough? Like Canada's best-selling truck, the Ford F-150. Your Ford store has you covered. Right now, get over $12,000 in total value on select new 2019 F-150 models. But only for a limited time. Black Friday ends November 27th. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
When a child sees the world for the first time after eye surgery, the look in their eyes is of hope and renewal. This holiday season, give the gift of sight to someone in need. Your donations to Operation Eyesight in honor of your loved ones will help create a brighter future for people in developing countries. These gifts will help prevent blindness and restore sight. Lives will be transformed. Visit OperationEyesight.com/gift of sight to learn how you can make an impact for all the world to see.
This business traveler's forecast is brought to you by Rate Shop Mortgages. You've inspired us to do more. Let us inspire you to save on your home equity loans starting at 5.99%. Apply at rateshop.ca. License 12733. Terms and conditions apply.
In Edmonton, mostly cloudy, 2 degrees. Montreal, mostly cloudy and 0. St. John's, a clear sky and 3 degrees. Downtown Toronto right now, overcast sky, 4 degrees. Similar conditions over at Pearson International. 680 news time, 9:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good evening. This is Saturday, November the 23rd. I'm Eden Tabata.
And I'm Casey Taylor. Here's what's making news this hour.
Homicide detectives are investigating after a fatal afternoon shooting in the city's East End. A selection of actors, athletes, and musicians have their names etched in stone on Canada's Walk of Fame. Mr. Dress Up among the inductees.
Canada is closing in on another historic sports victory as the tennis team progresses to the final round of the Davis Cup.
We've got details on all the festive events in the GTA that can help you get into the holiday spirit.
All of a sudden, we have a game in Colorado while the Raptors have battled back. They're undermanned in Atlanta to hold the lead against the Hawks in the fourth quarter. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, we're looking at one of the fastest selling auto brands on Canadian roads, Hyundai. What's driving the sales growth, including a lineup of electric vehicles.
680 news time, 9:31.
Now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig here.
This report is brought to you by Nikon Canada. So some delays now because of construction. Toronto-bound QEW crews are over top the Burlington Skyway. 2 left lanes are blocked and it's still slow. And then eastbound on the QEW through Royal Windsor, crews have the 2 right lanes blocked through here and it's slow through this bit of construction. Just past that, the 4 drive ramps onto the eastbound QEW are also closed. Still with the crash cleanup underway on the northbound 427 as you approach the 407. Right lane is blocked here by this crash. Crews are working to get it straightened up, but it's not really causing any problems. Just a slight slowdown as you go through the area. All the other routes are up to speed. Just a bit of construction out there. Eastbound 401 through Hurontario. The collectors crews now just with the single right lane blocked off instead of just leaving 1 left lane open. So you've got a couple of left lanes through this stretch, but everything's up to speed. Westbound on the 401 crews are west of McCowan in the left lane. Northbound 400, they set up at Duckworth now in the right lane as well. And the ramp to 16th Avenue off of the 404 northbound is still closed. Enjoy Black Friday savings of up to $800 on Nikon cameras and lenses during the Capture the Savings Holiday Sales event starting November 29th at Nikon authorized dealers. Your next report is at 9:41, and with the forecast, here's Jason Fraser.
Right now, we're seeing lots of clouds across the GTA, and that's pretty much the way it's going to be for the rest of tonight, but no rain is expected. We'll see a low temperature in the lower end of the single digits, and it is going to be a bit chillier north and west of the city. Our overnight low tonight is 0.
Downtown Toronto right now, an overcast sky and 4 degrees. Similar conditions over at Pearson International. 680 news time, 9:33.
One One person is dead after being gunned down in Scarborough. Toronto police were called to Danforth and Thicketwood Drive, just north of Eglinton, around 4:45 this afternoon.
Now, despite efforts to revive him on scene, EMS say a man in his 20s died from serious gunshot wounds. There's no details on the circumstances around the shooting or any suspect information. Homicide detectives have taken over the investigation.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. The city has welcomed many of its homegrown stars this evening as they're inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame. 680's resident stargazer Michelle Mackey joined us from the red carpet with the latest.
The inductees include the original Dragon entrepreneur and Boston pizza owner, Jim Treliving.
It's an honor, and it's a great humbling honor because it's something that I never expected to happen to me.
By the way, he told me his favorite pizza is the Great White North. Meanwhile, 23-year-old Brampton native Alessia Caro was named the 2019 Alan Slate Music Impact honoree.
Oh my gosh, it means so much, especially being a Canadian. I'm such a proud Canadian. I'm just from just outside of here in Brampton. So, getting my own little star, and it's such a huge deal for me. I never, ever would have expected this so early on in my life.
Will Arnett, Cindy Klassen, and Mark Messier, some of the other inductees at this year's 2019 Canadian Walk of Fame at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. I'm Michelle Mackey.
Canada's historic run at the Davis Cup continues. A semi-final win over Russia lands the Canucks in the final at the international tournament for the first time. Sportsnet 590 fans Colin Teske is taking a look.
They pulled off the upset, Canada making tennis history today. The team of Denis Shapovalov and Vasek Pospisil lifting Canada to a 6-3, 3-6, 7-6 win over Russian tandem Karen Khachanov and Andrei Rublev, continuing the amazing momentum for Canadian tennis this year. It is the first time Canada has reached the Davis Cup finals, and it won't get any easier for Denis Shapovalov and Vasek Pospisil as they'll meet Spain, who won the doubles rubber today, 7-6, 7-6 over Great Britain, 2-1. The title will air tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. on Sportsnet 1. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, I'm Colin Teske.
680 News Time, 9:35. Toronto police are looking for a man who has allegedly swung an axe and yelled at people downtown. Officers were called just after 9 p.m. tonight to King and Charlotte for reports of a man who was hitting garages and transit poles. He was last seen near Spadina and Queens Quay. There are no reported injuries at this time.
Police in Missouri say a woman feared doctors might experiment on her husband's body after he died, so she froze him in a freezer in their home.
Police in Joplin, Missouri discovered the body after a welfare check. The man had been suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease. His wife feared doctors might harvest his brain for experiments, so she kept his body inside a freezer in their home. Investigators determined the husband had died late last year. The wife had fired his previous doctors, and former caregivers said it was just tough finding a doctor that met her approval. Police say there's no evidence of foul play, but the wife faces up to 4 years in prison for abandoning a corpse. Kent Martin, ABC News, St. Louis.
680 News Time, 9:36. Hundreds of people gathered at Old City Hall today to protest ongoing violence in Iraq. The demonstrators waved Iraqi flags and held placards that read, "Save the Iraqi people." At least 341 protesters have died in massive protests in Iraq since October 1st. Demonstrators say the Iraqi government is responsible for widespread corruption and poor basic services despite the country's oil wealth.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. Some top-level staffing changes for federal conservative leader Andrew Scheer.
Andrew Scheer has made some unexpected changes to his staff in the wake of last month's election failure. He's dismissed 2 of his top aides, Chief of Staff Marc-Andre Leclerc and Communications Director Brock Harrison. Martin Belanger and Simon Jeffries will fill the respective posts on an interim basis. Scheer did not spell out reasons for the dismissals in a letter, saying only that personnel changes were being made as the party prepares to assume an active role in the Liberal-led minority parliament. Roger Ward, The Canadian Press.
680 News Time, 9:37. If you're around the rec room tonight, you might hear some weird noises coming from it, maybe a funky beat or two. Our Jennifer Holman is here to explain why.
The 10th annual Canadian Beatbox Championships take over the rec room, a decade of people making multiple sounds at the same time with their mouths.
You are now tuned into 680 News.
And from the first time ever, this event is all ages. Tonight, a new Canadian champion will be crowned. 16 beatboxers competing for the title. People from Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Newfoundland, and Calgary. There will be judges from New York and Pittsburgh, group beatbox battles, and more. Tickets through beatboxcanada.com. I'm Jeff Rahoman.
680 News Time, 9:38. There is something new at Canada's Wonderland, Winterfest. It started last night, but continues until New Year's Eve. The theme park has become a winter and festive wonderland with twinkly lights and decorations and Christmas fun. That includes Candy Cane Lane, a Christmas market, live holiday music, sweet and savory treats, a chance to meet Santa Claus, of course, and making cookies with Mrs. Claus. For more information, you can head to our website.
And the Aurora Winter Festival has taken over Ontario Place. Organizers say the park has been transformed into a mythical and magical world.
We have the Arctic Retreat, Candy Cane Lane, the Whimsical Forest, and the Luminous Gardens. Each of these have their own themes and their own format, but they're just, as I said, magical and brought to life with these fantastic lighting displays and these different magical characters.
The event continues until January 5th. Still to come on 680 News, our 680 gas price update and traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time, 9:39.
You know the names, you've heard the song, but until you've seen it live, you haven't experienced the magic of Cats.